Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we take those really dense topics, complex frameworks, and just break them down so you walk away with the essentials, the actionable stuff.
And today we've got a big one, a really big one. We're looking at the blueprint for what's called the 52 Principles of Quantum Transformation. It's this massive multi-year system for personal development.
Monumental is probably the right word. When you first look at the material we shared,
Yeah.
the sheer scale of it, it's a 7-year roadmap, weekly principles, daily tasks. It's intense.
Definitely. You could easily feel a bit overwhelmed. It's practically a whole curriculum for changing your life. So our job today is to kind of distill that, get to the core.
Right. What's the engine driving this whole thing? How is it structured? And maybe most importantly for getting started, what's this very first principle all about? Quantum transformation principle number 1, acceptance. How does that set the stage?
Exactly, because it's not just like a random collection of tips. It's very sequential, delivered weekly over the first year, and it's all geared towards self-mastery and personal transformation.
And they use that term quantum transformation very specifically. It's kind of the headline goal. We need to understand what they mean by quantum here, because it's not straight out of a physics textbook, is it?
Not at all. In this context, it's really about speed, rapid change. The
Mm.
whole idea, the definition they use, is achieving rapid internal change.
A leap, almost.
Yes. They actually say taking a leap into a balanced state as rapidly as possible. That's the promise, right? Accelerated growth. But that speed demands a really disciplined approach.
Okay, a leap.
Yeah.
That suggests a big shift, not just slow steps. And the source material seems to suggest the engine behind that leap, the thing that makes it possible, comes down to one core idea: conserving energy.
That's it. That's what they call the master key. The argument is you can only get that quantum speed if you stop the massive energy drain most of us have going on inside all the time.
Internal friction.
Precisely. If you can stop unnecessarily wasting your internal power, your life force, the revitalization is apparently so quick and deep that it feels like a quantum shift.
So it's about subtraction first. Stop the drain, and that unlocks the potential.
Right. And that revitalized energy, that's the fuel for the whole journey ahead towards self-mastery.
Okay, so let's dig into the bigger picture then, the foundational vision. Because this program isn't just about, say, feeling happier individually. It seems to have these 3 interconnected aims: moving from the person outwards.
Yeah, they link together really nicely. It ensures the inner work has an outer impact. The first one, the absolute cornerstone for the individual, is self-mastery.
And the definition they give for self-mastery is, well, it's quite specific. It's not vague.
No, it's very clear. They define it as the discipline regulation of thoughts, emotions, and actions. That word regulation is key.
Regulation, not suppression.
Exactly. It's about gaining tremendous purview, control, and vision over your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings. It's framed as this lifelong journey of becoming more self-aware, constantly improving.
That distinction between regulation and suppression feels really important. Suppression sounds like pushing things down, which probably takes energy.
A huge amount of energy. Regulation, as they frame it, is more about understanding why you're thinking or feeling something, seeing it, clearly that's the purview part, and then consciously deciding where to direct the energy tied to it.
Like conducting an orchestra inside your head rather than just reacting.
That's a great analogy. You know what's playing, why it's playing, and you guide it. That tremendous purview gives you the control.
Okay, so self-mastery is the inner control tower. And the second aim flows from that: personal transformation.
Right. If self-mastery is the state, transformation is the act of doing. It's consciously changing your underlying programming, your thoughts, your core beliefs, your behaviors.
Which requires looking inwards, being open to new ideas.
Absolutely. Introspection, embracing new perspectives. You have to have some mastery, some purview, before you can effectively transform things. You need to see it clearly first.
And then there's the third aim, which feels quite aspirational: human upliftment.
This is where it goes external. The idea is that if you achieve genuine self-mastery and transformation, that positive energy, that clarity, that balance, it naturally radiates out.
So by fixing yourself, you help fix the world, essentially.
In a way, yes. You uplift yourself, then your family, your community, and that contributes to the collective good. It makes individual discipline a path to social responsibility.
It definitely sets a high standard. You can't really lift others if you're unbalanced yourself. But achieving that kind of mastery, the roadmap shows It's definitely not a quick fix. It's long-term.
Oh, yeah. The sequence is crucial. They stress that. You can't just jump ahead. It demands patience and commitment. The 7-year path is laid out in stages.
Let's walk through those first few stages, the foundational ones.
Okay, stage 1 is year 1, the foundational level. The only goal here is achieving balance across what they call the 12 dimensions of life. This is where you start getting those 52 principles, one a week. It's all about building the foundation.
Just balance. Okay.
Yeah.
Then stage 2, year 2.
That's all about sustaining the balance. Because, achieving it once is one thing. Life happens. Year 2 is about making that balance robust, making it stick, habitual.
Like learning to lift a weight versus training to lift it consistently, day in, day out.
Exactly. Stability is key before you move on. You need that solid base.
And then you get to stage 3, year 3, the intermediate level. And this is where they say the door into self-mastery actually opens.
Right. And think about the psychology there. Most people want mastery now. This program forces you to wait. It says, look, you only get access to real self-mastery after 2 full years of balancing and sustaining.
So the door opening means you finally have the prerequisites, the conserved energy, the stable framework.
That's the idea. You're ready to begin the deeper work.
And then stage 4, year 4, is the advanced level, achieving a state of sustained self-mastery. And the later years go into excellence and upliftment.
Mm-hmm. But the point they hammer home again and again is that year 1 balance. It's unequivocally necessary.
Non-negotiable.
Completely. They literally say, without that, nothing ahead is going to happen regarding self-mastery. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand if you skip the foundation. Any little problem, money, health, relationship can pull the whole thing down.
That really underscores the need for commitment from the start.
Yeah.
Okay, if year 1 balance is the foundation, we need to understand the tool for building it. Which brings us back to that master key, the central concept.
Right, the central concept. This is really the intellectual spine of the whole 7-year program. It starts with a fundamental observation about the human mind.
That it's complex.
Intricate, complex, and incredibly energy-intensive, maybe the biggest consumer of our life force.
But the key isn't just that thinking uses energy, it's where it gets wasted.
Precisely. It's not just solving problems or being creative that uses energy. It's the constant internal churn. The mind, by default, is kind of leaky.
Leaky? How so?
Energy is constantly being drained by personal conflicts. And that means both internal stuff, you beating yourself up, worrying, regretting things, feeling guilty, and external conflicts, too. Arguments, stress at work, feeling resentful, even getting angry in traffic.
Those moments where you feel stuck in your own head, arguing with yourself or the world, that's actually burning fuel.
Massively. Like a powerful computer using 90% of its resources, just fighting off internal viruses instead of doing its job. That's the analogy they're drawing. These conflicts lead to this unnecessary dissipation of your inner energy, your life force.
So the primary goal isn't to add more positive thinking or force happiness. It's simply to stop the waste.
Yes. Reduce and eliminate that unnecessary dissipation. That's directive number 1.
And the claim is, if you do that successfully, the result isn't just incremental.
No, they say it's explosive. You get this extraordinary revitalization and conservation of life force. Suddenly, all this energy is available.
And that freed up energy then flows.
Yeah.
Where?
Everywhere. Through all those 12 dimensions of life we mentioned. Unobstructed and without disturbance.
Creating a foundation for limitless possibilities. That sounds ambitious.
It is ambitious, but the idea is the transformation comes from having the internal energy to actually act on possibilities, not from external circumstances magically changing. You can seize opportunities when you're not constantly drained.
It's a really elegant idea, tying everything back to energy. Psychology, spirituality, even practical things. They compare it to a master key, right?
Yeah, the one master key that unlocks all the doors. The 12 dimensions. The 52 principles, even, they say, all the world's scriptures and psychological theories.
They're claiming it's a universal principle.
Pretty much. Focus on conserving and optimizing your core energy, and everything else starts to fall into place. Relationships, money, health, because the engine is finally running clean.
Okay, if this concept is the master key, you'd need to really internalize it. How do they make sure people do that? Is there a specific practice?
Yes, very specific. Homework protocol number 1. You have to physically write out the entire central concept paragraph onto a 3x5 index card.
Write it out by hand.
By hand. And then you have to read that card at least once every day, all week long.
Just once a day. Seems simple, but handwriting it and the daily repetition, that probably anchors it differently than just reading it in a book.
That's the intention. It forces engagement. It's meant to go beyond just intellectual understanding to really implant the core idea into your subconscious. A constant reminder, energy first.
Okay, master key in hand. Now we need the map of the territory we're trying to balance with that energy, those 12 dimensions of life. This is the framework for year one.
Right. This list covers basically the whole spectrum of human experience. The goal is to get all 12 humming along in balance. Should we list them?
Yeah, let's run through them.
Okay. Number 1, career, your work, job satisfaction. 2, finances, income, debt, savings, stability. 3, physical health, fitness, nutrition, sleep, vitality. 4, mental health, your psychological state, emotions, stress. 5, family and relationships, close family, spouse, kids. 6, social life, friends, community, broader connections.
Interesting they split family and social life.
We can circle back to that. 7, personal development, learning, skills, growth. 8, spiritual or religious life, meaning, purpose, connection. 9, recreation and leisure, hobbies, fun, recharging.
Nearly there.
10, environment, your home, your neighborhood, physical surroundings. 11, contribution to society, giving back, volunteering, impact. And 12, life vision, your big goals, legacy, overall direction.
That's comprehensive. Let's go back to number 5 and 6, family and relationships versus social life. Why separate them?
It seems strategic. Family often involves deep history, obligation, complex emotions. Social life is often more about chosen connections. Separating them ensures you don't ignore difficult family dynamics just because you have lots of friends. You need balance in both.
That makes sense. And number 10, environment. Listing your physical surroundings as a core dimension for internal balance is also interesting.
Definitely. It suggests clutter or a stressful environment isn't just background noise. It's an active energy drain, a source of low-level conflict. If the master key is energy conservation, a messy desk or chaotic home is a leak.
Got it. So you have these 12 dimensions, the sources visualize them surrounding a core energy center, all linked.
Yeah, that visual emphasizes the interconnectedness. That's crucial. A major problem in one area, say, huge debt,
Finance.
right? Or chronic stress.
Mental health.
It doesn't just stay in that box. It poisons the well. It blocks the energy flow to all the other dimensions. You can't really wall off a severe imbalance.
And while you need balance in all 12, they do single out 2 as being especially critical.
Yes, physical health and mental health are called predominantly important. The reasoning is very practical.
If you lose those,
Everything else becomes incredibly difficult, maybe impossible. If you're seriously ill or deeply depressed, tackling career goals or finances, it's just not feasible for most people. So protecting these two is job one.
they're the foundation for tackling the other 10.
Exactly. The ultimate goal is that state of complete balance across all 12, fueled by that optimized, conserved core energy flowing freely.
Okay, groundwork laid. We've got the 7-year plan, the energy driver, the 12 dimensions. Now we get to the very first piece of weekly homework. Quantum transformation principle number 1, acceptance. This is the gateway, the first of the 52.
And this principle is where the rubber meets the road in terms of stopping that energy drain we talked about. The definition they give is quite precise. Acceptance is a powerful state of mind allowing you to embrace the present moment without judgment or resistance.
Embrace the present without judgment or resistance.
Yeah,
Sounds simple, but maybe deceptively so.
it is. It means acknowledging what's actually happening, your thoughts, feelings, circumstances, good or bad, without fighting it, without wishing it were different, without suppressing it, without arguing with reality.
You stop the internal war.
That's exactly it. And that internal war, the judgment, the resistance, that is the personal conflict that wastes energy. So acceptance is basically the first shield against energy loss. You accept what is right now.
Okay, here's where I feel some friction, though. Embrace the present without judgment. What if the present is genuinely awful? Say you're facing a serious illness or a major financial crisis. Isn't resistance like a natural motivator to change things?
That's a really important question, and they address it directly. The key distinction is that resistance, in this context, is seen as an emotional reaction that drains energy and actually prevents effective action.
How so?
Well, if you resist reality, say, you're consumed with anger or despair about the illness you're spending energy fighting what is, acceptance isn't about liking the situation. It's a neutral acknowledgement. Okay, this is the reality I'm facing right now. That neutral space is where clear thinking and effective planning begin.
So acceptance isn't resignation, it's clearing the deck for action.
Exactly. It's the prerequisite for meaningful change, not a substitute for it. Let's look at the 5 specific practice points for week 1. They make it clear.
Okay, the 5 elements.
First is the core definition applied. Embrace the present without judgment or resistance. The example they give is kind of fun. Imagine you're at a family picnic, they start a soccer game, and you're, well, terrible at soccer.
Yeah, happens.
Resistance would be judging yourself, worrying about looking silly, maybe refusing to play. That wastes energy on self-consciousness. Acceptance is deciding to play anyway. Focus on the fun, the connection. Despite your lack of skill, you can serve that energy.
Okay, makes sense. Second point.
This moves to relationships. Cultivate acceptance for personal growth and harmonious relationships.
How does that play out?
The example is about music taste. Your friend loves a genre you can't stand. Resistance is judging their taste. Maybe trying to convince them yours is better creates friction, wastes energy. Acceptance is acknowledging their preference, sharing yours without judgment. Maybe even trying to understand why they like it. It strengthens the bond.
Right. Third point focuses inward.
Practice acceptance for self-awareness, resilience, and inner peace. This is about dealing with external annoyances. Like a neighbor playing loud music when you want quiet, or maybe you're trying to relax by a lake and the wind is just whipping around annoyingly. The typical reaction is judgment. They shouldn't do that. This wind is ruining everything.
Which drains energy.
Right. Acceptance here means using it as practice. Acknowledge the noise, acknowledge the wind as facts of the moment you can't control. Then focus on maintaining your inner calm despite the external disturbance. That builds resilience. Your peace becomes less dependent on things being perfect outside.
Turning annoyances into training. I like that. Okay, fourth point. This one seems key to the not resignation idea. Practice acceptance for meaningful change.
Yes, this directly tackles that friction point. Acceptance is not passive. The example used is seeing ugly graffiti on a wall in your community.
Resistance is anger, complaining.
Or maybe just ignoring it, pretending it's not there. Acceptance is acknowledging, okay, the graffiti is real, it's here. That clear seeing frees up the energy that was tied up in outrage or denial. And then you can act, maybe you organize people to paint a mural over it. Acceptance is seeing the starting point clearly so you can plan the journey from there.
Which leads right into the fifth point, the crucial distinction.
Absolutely critical. Differentiate acceptance from resignation and complacency. This is vital.
Define resignation and complacency in this context.
Resignation is giving up, hopelessness, like deciding halfway up a steep hill, this is too hard, I quit. Complacency is being okay with mediocrity, settling for less than you could be, even if the current situation isn't great.
So back to the steep hill example. How is acceptance different from just resigning and stopping the climb?
Acceptance is acknowledging, wow, okay, this hill is steep, and yes, I am tired. It's facing the facts without the emotional drama. But then, instead of quitting, you use that clarity to decide how to proceed. You become very active in taking the right steps in the right direction.
Maybe finding a better path, resting strategically, changing your pace.
Exactly. You conserve the energy you might have wasted on self-pity or denial, and you redirect it into smart action. The sources emphasize that when this quality of acceptance really opens up in you, it calms down those specific energy-draining feelings. Worry, tension, fear, guilt, shame, and doubt.
Those 6 are huge energy sinks for most people.
They really are. Acceptance acts like, they say, a strong medicine against them. It neutralizes that inner friction. That's a big part of the potential quantum leap, freeing up that energy immediately.
So like the central concept, there's a specific protocol for drilling this acceptance principle in.
Yes, and it's even more intensive. You copy the full acceptance definition with all its nuances onto another 3x5 card. And this card you have to read 3 times every single day.
3 times. When?
Specifically before each main meal. Before breakfast, before lunch, before dinner.
Linking it to eating. That anchors it to a really fundamental routine.
It's about deep embedding, the repetition, the connection to a basic need. The goal isn't just to memorize it, it's to implant the principle so deeply that acceptance starts to arise naturally from within you as your default response, instead of judgment or resistance.
Okay, so week 1 is clearly intense. You've got the central concept card, the acceptance card read 3 times a day. But there's more, right? Workbook exercises.
Oh yeah. Week 1 is packed. It's about setting the baseline. There's reflection work in workbook number 1, mind exploration.
Mind exploration. What does that involve?
It's about getting that purview, control, and vision over your own mind, like we talked about under self-mastery. The main exercise is reflecting deeply on one sentence. My human mind is characterized by intricate workings and endless complexities. You use that as a jumping off point to really analyze your own mental patterns.
Just reflecting on complexity. Or is it more guided?
It's guided. They ask you to internalize 3 specific properties of the mind to help frame that self-reflection.
Okay, what are they?
First is diverse functions and abilities. You're encouraged to think of your mind as a control center, capable of analysis, creativity, math, intuition, memory, all of it. Seeing it as this powerful, valuable center highlights why wasting its energy on internal conflict is such a loss.
Makes sense. Second property.
The emotional, rational balance. The mind is shown as this constant balancing act between feelings and logic. In most people, they say these are often at war, which wastes huge energy. The goal isn't to kill emotion or logic, but to get them working together harmoniously.
And the third one connects to the long-term goal.
Yes, adaptability and growth. This brings in neuroplasticity, the idea that your mind isn't fixed. It can change, adapt, learn, like a muscle getting stronger with exercise.
And the exercise here is practicing things like acceptance.
Exactly. The repetition, the focus. You're literally building new neural pathways for regulation and energy conservation, overriding old habits of judgment and resistance. You're using neuroplasticity intentionally.
The workbook also has specific exercises, capability spotlights.
Right. Little exercises to make the energy connection concrete, like list the languages you speak and notice the energy it takes to switch between them or communicate clearly. Or reflect on your favorite music. How does it shift your energy? What emotions does it bring up? It ties mental activity directly to felt energy.
Okay, that's the internal mapping. Then there's the external landscape.
Mhm.
The 12-dimension self-assessment in Workbook 2. This sounds crucial for year 1.
Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
This is where you establish your starting point. It requires real honesty. You rate yourself right now in each of those 12 dimensions on a scale of 0 to 10.
0 is the worst to be 10 is optimal.
Optimal, perfect, nothing more needed in that area right now. And they specifically say you can use decimals, a 6.5, a 7.2.
Why the decimals? Why not just whole numbers?
It pushes you to be more precise, more sincere, avoids rounding up out of ego or rounding down out of pessimism. It forces a really candid look. Where am I really at in my career, my health, my relationships? It's your assessment from your perspective now. The more honest the baseline, the better the plan.
And once you have those 12 numbers, it's not just diagnostic. There's homework attached.
Immediately. For every single one of the 12 dimensions, you have to write one simple sentence for 2 things. A, how you plan to increase that number, move towards 10, and B, how you plan to prevent its decrease, protect your current score.
Wow, for all 12. Increase and prevent decrease. That forces you to think both offensively and defensively about your entire life structure all at once.
It connects the assessment directly back to energy stewardship. Preventing decrease is defense, stopping the leaks, conserving energy. Increasing the number is offense, directing that conserved energy towards growth. Doing both for all 12 aims for balanced progress.
Okay, now let's talk about maybe the most unique week 1 practice. Energy stewardship through vitamin M, money as energy.
Yes, this reframes finances completely. Money M is defined here as condensed, neutral energy, functionally identical, they say, to your internal core energy.
And the logic is, wasting money leads to regret. And regret is an internal conflict that drains your core energy.
Precisely. So managing money responsibly becomes a direct act of conserving your vital life force. It elevates financial discipline, makes it almost a spiritual practice.
And the actual practice for week 1.
It's about intentionality. You choose an amount, maybe $10, maybe $100, whatever feels meaningful but manageable, and you put it into a dedicated envelope. Physically put it in there.
And this money, you just hold on to it.
Yes. This pool is sealed, metaphorically speaking. It's not for immediate spending.
What's the point of just putting money in an envelope and not using it?
Several things, it seems. 1, it's a tangible symbol of conserving energy. You didn't just spend it impulsively. 2, it teaches intention. The money itself is neutral. Its use determines its effect. 3, it reinforces that money is a resource for strategic deployment, not just reactive spending.
And you don't deploy it until week 12. Why wait 3 months?
The delay is key. It gives you time to internalize the first batch of principles, refine those increase, prevent, decrease plans for your 12 dimensions. Then, in week 12, you intentionally use that vitamin M as a supplement to strategically energize specific goals across the dimensions, maybe pay for a workshop, personal development, buy some organizing bins, environment, or invest in healthier food, physical health. But it has to support balanced growth, not create new problems or energy drains.
Very interesting link between finance and inner energy. Lastly, for week 1, there's a physical component, somatic hygiene.
Yes, can't forget the body, especially since physical health is one of those top two dimensions. The directive is simple but important. Integrate movement, specifically standing stretches or mobility breaks if you sit a lot. Aim for about every 30 to 60 minutes.
Seems almost minor compared to the 7-year plan and energy concepts.
But think about it. Sitting still for hours creates physical stagnation, mental fog. That's a low-grade energy drain, a form of discomfort and friction. These little breaks refresh your body, refresh your attention, keep the energy flowing. It supports the mental work. It's even a form of acceptance, accepting your body's need to move. Hashtag tag outro.
Okay, wow. Week 1 is a lot. It really sets a demanding pace. We've covered the huge scope, the 7-year map, the absolute centrality of energy conservation is the master key, the 12 dimensions you need to balance, and this foundational first principle, QTPPFS1, acceptance.
It's a packed initiation for sure, but the sources are also clear on what success looks like for just this first week. It's helpful to know the targets. We should probably recap those.
Good idea. Cognitively, what do you need to achieve?
Cognitively, you should be able to explain that central concept energy conservation and the core idea of acceptance, especially how it differs from just giving up, resignation. Explain it in your own words. And crucially, identify at least one specific personal conflict, internal or external, that you recognize is draining your energy right now.
Okay, understand the concepts. Apply them to yourself, behaviorally.
Execution is everything here. Did you actually do the card readings every day? The central concept one, the acceptance one 3 times before meals? And did you take at least a couple of small, concrete actions based on your 12-dimension assessment? Those increase or prevent decrease steps.
Right, action, not just thinking. And energetically, how do you measure success there?
This one's more subjective, but maybe the most important. It's feeling a difference, a noticeable reduction in that inner static, that background noise of worry or judgment, a sense of having slightly clearer attention, feeling a bit less drained during the day. That feeling is the first sign the energy conservation is starting to work, the leap beginning.
That makes sense. The whole program really emphasizes steady progress, doesn't it? That phrase, never give up, seems core to surviving the long haul.
Absolutely. The structure is designed to support that consistency, to keep you moving forward, even when it feels hard or slow.
So if the master key, conserving energy, unlocks the door to limitless possibilities, the program pushes you toward self-mastery as the foundation. But mastery isn't the final destination, is it?
Now it's the launch pad.
We spent all this time talking about balancing these 12 dimensions: career, health, money, relationships, contribution. That's the foundation. But the final thought maybe is, once that foundation is solid, once that door to self-mastery opens around year 3, what's the point? What specific, maybe ambitious, maybe limitless possibility, beyond just being balanced, is uniquely yours to pursue with all that conserved energy and newfound discipline?
That's the big question, isn't it? The structure gets you ready, gets you balanced, gets you mastery, but you have to decide what you're going to build on that foundation. That's where it shifts from self-improvement to perhaps genuine self-realization. What will you do with all that potential?